Hola, I'm Heidi, and welcome to another episode of Money Talks. Okay, syempre, alam niyo na naman, excited na naman ako. This is a very exciting episode because this is another, paano ba natin sasabihin to? Another dream come true? Wow. And I'm really, really so happy for that the universe has conspired to make this episode happen. Sobrang nakakataba talaga ng puso and sobrang dream come true talaga to, guys, because I am having one of the most influential persons in our show tonight. And when I say influential, up to the level na bakit tayo nagkaroon ng womanity, 'di ba? And ikukwento ko 'yun sa inyo mamaya, okay? But before I go to that, the reason why we're having this kind of episode because as we said, the whole March is really dedicated to our series which talks about women empowerment. And lahat ng mga episodes na pinalabas natin dito simula nung first Monday of the month are all about how to become an empowered woman, di ba? So we started off with usapan with John Fontanilla, and then how to be God-fearing with Marge Balbuena. And then last week, we have Sir Josel Gaston to talk about how we can meditate and how we can manifest the good vibes sa buhay natin. And right now, paano naman natin i-unleash ang fire within. Okay, and every time we would talk about fire within, we I can only think of one person who can better explain things like that and who can better force us to really unleash the power or unleash the fire within, 'di ba? And when I was asking them nga kung ano yung gusto nilang title for this episode, wala, hindi na natin talaga inisip. It's really I am fire. And I want her to personally explain to us bakit why that title. So later on we will be discussing that. And grabe guys, eto hindi ko na talaga to patatagalin. I will be introducing my very 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 special guest for tonight. She is the chief awakener of awesome people at World Stage International Network. And of course, master trainer din siya ng NLP Asia Pacific. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Cherry Pua-Africa. Oh my gosh, Miss Cherry.
Hello,
Hello, hello,
hello.
Miss
How are you,
Cherry.
Heidi?
I am so good. I feel great. I think I'm already on fire.
Okay, that is so great, right? To have that effect. I am very honored.
Yes, and I'm sweating right now. Just naka-aircon ako dito but I'm sweating right now, and my viewers would know that it only happens kapag sobrang grabe, sobrang nadadala ako dun sa guest ko for tonight. Miss Cherry, sobrang thank you for being here with me tonight. And ang dami-dami po natin pag-uusapan. And one of which is really how to become an empowered woman nga and how to unleash the fire within, di ba? Before we go to that, I want to ask first something personal. Okay, so just to lighten the mood, ganyan, di ba? Because I'm really curious. How was it like during your childhood?
My childhood, ang daming years ago na I couldn't even access my memory for. I had a relatively ordinary childhood. Nothing colorful, but I think I had a very
Mm-hmm.
happy childhood. My parents raised me well. I was obedient, and on the area where we are best, where the metric of success is most expressive, and that is basically your grades. I think I did well. I'm okay. In high school, I was, I think, an achiever. I did a lot. I held a lot of leadership posts, but really just ordinary. I'm an ordinary girl when I was a child, growing up as a child. Uh, that's it. There's really nothing, nothing parang story worthwhile except that, I just had a very happy, ordinary childhood.
Parang ang perfect nung childhood, no? Matataas yung grades, masunurin sa magulang, di ba? That's how we envision sana every childhood memory, no? The reason why I asked Miss Cherry is because I want I want to know kasi what made you do what you do today. Because di ba yung mga iba kasi, um my previous guest kasi would tell me stories na then I would understand na kaya pala yun yung pinili niyang advocacy because this is what happened to her or him in the past.
Mm.
So in your case po, what made you do what you do today?
I definitely, Heidi. I think the past helped me to become the person that I am. But there's also the future, the imagination of the person I wanted to be, which is always, which is a lifelong chase. I think also helped me shape the vision of, the person that I want to become. uh, how my past helped me or enabled me. I think I am a product of many, many, many years, many layers of assimilation. I am who I am because I stood on the shoulders of the giants before me, my parents, my grandparents, diba? Their grandparents, who have shaped me and given me lessons and wonderful experiences. And I am who I am right now also because of the wisdom of my present, as a result of my hard work, as a result of my own vision of the person I wanted to become. And I continue to morph and evolve and even to do revolutions every now and then, reinventions, so that I could be a better person every day. So it is actually a series of reinvention. It's a journey. It's a journey, and there's a lot of people to thank for the person I've become, including myself, because I think you were talking about empowered women, right? And how to be an empowered woman. And I think the first thing we need to remember is we need to choose to be ourselves. No, we are not a product of how society wants to shape us, of how other people want to celebrate us. We choose to be ourselves and we celebrate that.
That's amazing. And gusto ko yung product ka of all the experiences and of all the learnings from the people that you have dealt with before, and now you're sharing it with a lot of people para at least maging inspired din sila to be better. And especially those people who are really lost na hindi nila alam kung paano sila magsisimula on how they could look at themselves differently. So I know a lot of people who are like that. Miss Sherry, sobrang speaking of influencing and having your past and then sharing it to the world now. I always say that walang Womani Talks kung wala si Miss Cherry Africa simply because what you said inspired the founder of Passionate Creators, who is Louis Baarde. So Louis Barde is the founder of Passionate Creators, and what she did is that parang pinagsama-sama niya lahat ng mga content creators na gusto magsimula and but doesn't really know how or where to start. So she mentored us, and then every time she would do speeches, yung mga talks niya sa mga speaking engagements niya. She would always say this. Okay, let me just flash the video. So, just to summarize what she said, kasi she first heard this from you daw, and then you said that stop catching butterflies and then create a garden and attract them instead. And then before kasi what she was doing daw kasi is parang yung she would go out and then parang kakausap siya ng mga tao and then hindi naman daw siya pinapansin. But when she heard this from you, what she realized is she has to stop catching butterflies or yung mga tao na gusto niyang maging influence niya. And then she has to make something that would attract those people to get into her circle. Ito yung natutunan niya sa'yo. So, this is really empowering, especially for us because yun nga eh, isa yun sa inspiration kung bakit nagkaroon ng Passionate Creators. And because of Passionate Creators, nakonsinti kaming mga content creators na gumawa ng something like this. And but I want to know, Miss Cherry, because I know that every time that there is something or there is a statement that comes from someone, meron siyang pinanggagalingan eh, 'di ba? And like si Louie kung saan lagi siyang nasasabi nung pinanggalingan ng Passion Creators, which is inspired by your your quote. Ikaw, Miss Cherry, ano yung incident or what inspired you to say this statement? Na sobrang
I
nag-resonate kay Louie?
I think first and foremost, I also heard it from someone, and I'm just passing on the energy. I couldn't even remember who, but at that point in time, when Louis needed the words just came through me as as an instrument. Saan siya nanggaling? I think it's really, those endless chasing of people for things, no? And blindly chasing it. There are so many formula for success. It could make your head spin if you listen to everything, no? Ang dami-dami. And hahanapin mo lahat yan, ifa-follow mo. And then at the end of the journey, you'll be so tired and you don't know what you're chasing. And we forget, no? We forget that the most important thing is to build that environment where people will be magically attracted to you. And when I say build your environment, yes, you talk about expressions of building it in the form of platforms, in the form of content creation. The first environment we need to build is that emotional and mental environment of positivity and joy, so that every woman, in pursuit of your life and your business is feeling good about it. Then you just attract. You attract help, you attract inspiration, you attract money, because people like to be with people who would give them positive, that positivity. So that's the first thing we need to do to create that. And wherever we are going in our journey, it is so important we bring this with us. Then para tayong magnet na nag-a-attract lang, no? Yun munang una natin gagawin, kaya sa habol tayo ng habol, di naman natin alam kung ano yung nahabol natin. Both formula will make us work hard, but we might as well work smart. No, you mentioned this is actually a platform for wise women. We need to be wise, no, and hence we need to create an environment where we could be added value to other people, instead of chasing and getting and being reductive in the process. So if we are like that, if we are generous, no, by creating this beautiful garden, we are generous. We are giving joy, we are giving beauty, we are radiant. Generosity is a growth strategy. We are going to grow as a result of that giving environment and that giving energy. And it is not hard, it is easy. We begin from where we are, no? And then we just expand.
Super nice. So, as you said, we begin from where we are and then we expand. So,
Mm-mm.
that brings me to my next question because the title of our episode for tonight is I Am Fire, diba? So, what does it really mean to be on fire or to be like fire? Kasi it
Mhm.
should really it should really come from within and it will radiate outside. So, how does it really be like that?
To be on fire, number one, Heidi, there's a lot of darkness around us, with everything that's happening around us. And then include mo pa yung mental state, emotional state of negativity, that toxic environment. It's just too
Mhm.
much for our spirits to take. Hence, being on fire means that we take care of our own energies. In the new normal right now, the new environment, BYOM na yan, bring your own motivation. Do not expect other people, mentors, office mates, bosses to give you motivation. Saan? Pag nag-work from home ka, mag-isa ka. No? We stand alone together. So it is so important that we actually find that source of our fire, which is inside us. Inside us. Fire is an inner game. And we have that. Nobody can light it for us. We have that. Natutulog lang siya. At
Mhm.
ayaw natin siyang gisingin. But change requires that we wake up. Change requires that we don't sleep. So we stoke that fire. And then we feed it. We nourish it. There is a ritual to do that. It is hard work to nourish that fire. But when we are radiant, when we are brilliant, when we are beautiful, it is going to be so easy for us to infect other people. One person at a time, through the work that we do, whatever that is, whether it is through content creation, whether it is by being a financial advisor, by being a leader in your team, by working in an office, whatever that is, we are required, by this universe, to be fire. Hence, we light up this world, and it is natural. It is not hard. It is inside of us.
Agree. And tama ka, Miss Cherry. one person at a time, di ba? You infect one person at a time, and it becomes a ripple effect already. Because if you infect that person will be infecting another person, and so on and so forth. Sobrang ideal nung world, no, that we wanted to create. If only a lot of people would know where to start, 'di ba? And kanina you've mentioned that you have to be emotionally ready, you have to be mentally ready in all of this. And one of the approaches that you are also teaching in world stage is NLP, 'di ba po? So, um in a nutshell, for those viewers po who are not yet familiar with NLP, it's neuro linguistic program. So, what is it in a nutshell po, and how does it empower individuals po if talagang napag-aralan po nila yan?
Neuro-linguistic programming sounds very technical. It is actually just very simple. Three things lang yan. Three words, no? Neuro is the mindset,
Yeah.
linguistic is your language, and programming is your behavior or your programs, which is based on, a set of programming from the past, from our choices, from our decisions.
Mhm.
In order for us to be successful, we need to be able to manage these three things. We need to be able to manage our belief, our stories inside of us, because that is going to be reflected in our behavior. We need to
Mhm.
manage our language, the way we speak to other people, using the right words, open the right files. Sometimes it's just one word. That is the difference that makes the biggest difference, no? And the final thing is our programming. The world sees our programs, our behaviors, how I am behaving towards you, how you're behaving towards me. It is very visible. My mindset is not visible to you, but you will get a clue as to what my belief systems are according to my behavior. So
Yeah.
these three things are so important, and we need to be able to work and manage this. And what NLP is saying, if we are able to bring this to its highest expressions, there is a big chance of success than failure.
Yeah.
And so we work on how to prune our language. We work on how to actually polish our belief systems to serve our mission. We work on our behaviors so that we are being resourceful and we are attracting people as a result of how we put ourselves out into the world every day, every minute. It's hard work, but when we bring it to autopilot in time, it's going to be easy because it is natural. It is natural.
Yeah, and there are sessions din kasi po, 'di ba, for you be able to really practice it, because as you said, it's really something na kailangang i-rewind mo or i-rewire mo yung pag-iisip mo, yung pananalita mo and pag-uugali mo, 'di ba? And coming from coming from a state where sobrang nakasanayan mo na yung mga um yung self-talk mo na negative, and coming from that person na talagang kung makapagsalita ka, eh, kulang na lang marami ka ng mapatay. 'Di ba? And then yung gawi mo, 'di ba? It's really hard if you got used to all of those things. But entering into this kind of approach, which is NLP, it's really gonna take a lot of energy for you to change, 'di ba? But there are a lot of coaches who will be teaching you that din naman po, right?
Uh, yes, change requires energy, di
Mhm.
ba? We cannot stay at our potential energy. We seldom measure up to our maximum energy, and we will
Mhm.
always perform to the level of our training. It is so important. It is so important that we manage our energy. We need to be awake, and being awake is be having energy. But you mentioned something about toxicity in the environment. Masyadong maraming negativity in our environment. And the first source of negativity is ourselves. You mentioned that our inner voices, it's
Inner,
a
yeah,
maniac,
your
right?
inner
It's
talks,
like,
yeah.
yeah, the inner talk is like a maniac every day. It's telling you, uy, di ba, you don't need to do this. You don't need to kill yourself so hard, to achieve whatever it is that you want. We tell things to convince ourselves so that we do not need to spend a lot of energy because vision, mission that requires a lot of energy. No, because you're fighting against so many energy in path of least resistance. We wanted to make sure that the path to success is easiest, and so we attend all of the seminars for easy money. No, we listen to everybody, and then we think
Yeah.
that's easy money. We look at our social media posts, and then we look at, we only have 10 likes. We get upset by that. when we talk about being an empowered woman and being a girl on fire, women on fire, these things are irrelevant. What I mean, we think about everyone, we think about inspiring all the people. Let's start with someone. Let's start with one person and then you build it up. You worry about everyone later in your years, but build that garden. Start with one person, learn from that one person, start with one event, learn from that event. And then eventually it will just prosper if you are consistent and if you have stamina for repetition, for rejections, for redirections, for reinventions. It's a journey, and at the end, Heidi, at the end of your journey, it's really just the same, no?
Correct.
What matters most is the journey and what we learn as lessons from the journey. That's what prunes us to be better human beings.
Super agree to that, Miss Cherry. Because minsan din kasi, at least for some content creators like me, I'm including myself na rin po, um, i- the measure of success is really of this world, eh, 'di ba? But if you go back to your purpose, if you go back to why you are doing this, that really is something na magfu-fuel sa'yo to keep on going. No matter how much you're not hitting the acceptance metrics or the social media metrics, 'di ba? But kung masyadong malalim yung why mo or kung masyadong malalim yung purpose mo on why you're doing all of these things, talagang yung stamina, tama ka dun. Tama ka dun, Miss Cherry. You really need that stamina talaga because sometimes nakakaano rin siya, nakaka-sad din kasi siya. But yun nga, one of the teachings din sa passionate creators is really there's only messages that only you can share. So why will you stop, 'di ba? In every episode that you will be showing, in every content that you will be posting, there is one life being changed. So why will you stop? You start from
Mm.
there and then you go on. 'Di ba? So super super nakakakilig. Ayan, now that we know the purpose of NLP naman, ma'am, let's go to my next question. And eto, what are you doing in Worlds? Kasi like, sobrang nakakaaliw because even your titles are, I think, walang katulad sa iba, no? Chief Awakener, diba? So, what do you do in World Stage po that makes a lot of difference in the lives of the people that enrolls in your program or enrolls in World Stage?
We basically, our mission is to fire up. That's our mission, no? To fire up as many teams and people as we can,
Mhm.
based on the resources we have, but also on our ambition. At
Mm-mm.
times we don't have enough resources and enough energy to meet our ambition, but we find ways to fire up. We find ways to fire up partnerships and collaborations. We work with companies in order for them to learn ways to become their best versions, to bring their souls on fire to offices, to create positive environments for learning and for growth so that talent is managed and talent is retained and improved. We also help drive sales for sales teams. So these are the things that we do. Every day that we work, it's an ordinary day for us. We do exactly what you're doing, Heidi. No? We're working, we're doing our social media, we're curating our programs, we're learning with people. I think the most important thing for me to define what our company is we are a learning organization. We make sure that we continue to learn from our interactions with other people to grow in terms of our consciousness and mindsets so that we are able to hold spaces for a lot more people to grow and on our plate and in our field, in our own garden. So these are the things that we do. And hopefully, we've been doing a lot of work through the pandemic to help people win, not just survive in the pandemic. We've done a lot of work also outside of the Philippines. Thanks to this setup, we could go out easier. We become more accessible also. So these are just
True.
some of the things that we're doing, Heidi.
And then Miss Cherry, you're giving out some challenges din, 'di ba? I think I was able to experience the challenges that you make your participants experience, yung mga walking on fire. Oh my
Yes,
gosh. 'Di
yes.
ba?
Have you
Let
walked
me
on
get one,
fire,
Miss
Heidi? Have
Cherry.
you walked? Have you walked
I
on fire?
I haven't, but what I did was, alam niyo po yung may tinutusok dito sa leeg?
The
Na the
arrow.
arrow, yeah, the arrow, and then you have to push harder para mag-break yung arrow. So
Yes.
that's one thing that I experienced sa world stage. Sobrang, ah. And I can vividly remember during that time kasi we were in the basta in a convention, in a malaking hall siya eh. And then no one was really brave enough to attempt. So sabi ko, sige na nga, let's get this over with. Ako yung nauna. Ako yung nauna. And then, pero kabado ako. Kasi syempre dito siya eh, di ba? So, but I was able to do it. And yeah, that experience is really empowering because facing your fear, di ba? We have a lot of fears na that gets in the way of us reaching our success. And I guess the activity really is nakakatakot naman kasi kung lumusot yung arrow sa lalamunan mo. But I was able to do it. And if that activity was successful, I guess in other fields, I could also be successful because life and death nga yung sa akin, di ba?
Mm,
So
mm,
that's
mm.
my takeaway from that activity. It's really, really empowering. It made me realize a lot of things. So, yeah, sobrang amazing. Hindi ko alam kung saan yun nakukuha yung mga activities na yun, but I don't know, you're really successful on those things. Meron ba kayong mga sobrang unforgettable experience during the trainings or the sessions that where you do those kinds of activities, Miss Cherry?
Marami. Maraming when we did face to face, I have
Mhm.
met people with their own stories who
Mhm.
bring their stories with us as they actually
Mhm.
cross on fire, as they break arrows, as they bend rebars. All of these things that we do, these are extreme breakthrough tools, no? And tama ka siya, mo, the first energy that you will feel when you see that, imagine mo, nagbabagang apoy, 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit of fire, and you cross that, the first energy you will experience is fear.
Fear.
And so, are you going to be fear or are you going to be fire? That's the first question. And when you are presented with this kind of energy, you don't overthink, because if you overthink, you will have action paralysis and you will freeze or you will run away. So you just move forward. And when you move forward and accomplish that particular exercise, you look back and then you see yourself, and something has permanently changed in you, the spirit, the belief system. For 6 seconds that you crossed the fire or you bent that arrow, your belief was shaken, and you wanted to get out of that comfort zone. And that is life changing, and that is game changing. I remember you were asking about very memorable experiences. I remember there was this one person who had in one convention with the MDRTs, the Million Dollar Round Tables, who just who just overcome a throat cancer, and she asked me, am I gonna be okay if I break that arrow? Because I just had I went through this. Ordeal. And I said, yes, it's going to be superficial pain if there's any, and it's really going to be more emotional pain overcome. And then she said, okay, I'm going to do it on one condition. I want you to help me. I want you to hold my hand and help me. And if that is going to be a source of her strength, although the real source of her strength is herself, but if that gives her that feeling that she's going to be strong, I held her hand and she was able to do it. And she cried after that exercise. And in fact, I felt I was changed more than she was changed, just witnessing her
Oh my
story. It's
gosh.
beautiful, and so many other stories, so many we kept on writing and documenting these stories, because this actually also strengthens our own results and our own mission, because we go through tiring moments, we go through frustrations a lot of times, and when we are reminded by these stories, we feel strong at the same time. So this is the garden is for everyone, to just find their flowers, to pick it up at the moment that you need it most, and to allow that energy to flourish, and to infect other people. And this is just opening up this generous space where we just keep giving and giving and giving, because as a result, we also get something in return.
That's amazing. That's an amazing message, Miss Cherry. sobrang ang dami mo pong na-share for tonight for a very, very short period. But a lot of things has resonate from what you said po, no? And Miss Cherry, this is we have come to my last question for tonight. And siguro itotodo ko na lang din to because I really want this question to somehow resonate for other people who are really experiencing this parang self-doubt and I know a lot of people po kasi na talagang hindi sila maka-move forward because there are this, yun nga, self-doubt and hindi nila, parang nakikita nila na yung mga tao are better than them. That's why they're not, parang they don't deserve much of the world kasi hindi sila kasing galing nito, hindi sila kasing galing yan. And ano yung ma-advise niyo po for these people na especially women who are so who does not see the fire in themselves.
I think self worth is and should be devoid of content. In short, whatever it is that you have achieved, whatever it is that you have not achieved, has nothing to do with your self worth. You were born to be worthy. We all are worthy. And so we take space in our own worthiness and we stand in that power and then we create something, expressions of our pure raw energy, our energy, not other people's energy, not other people's mission. Now there will be, you will decide to actually conspire with other people, just like what you're doing with Louis, right? To expand your energy so that you could have a bigger space to share your voices. That is wonderful. That is expansive. But it is so important that we stop the temptation to compare ourselves with other people and to just become our best version. We look at the work of other people and we use that as models of excellence, models of genius that we could learn from. Now, what are the structures of success of this particular person, and aspire to conquer, to be successful or even more successful in our own metrics. I think the metrics for being women on fire, being empowered women, is the amount of fire we have in ourselves and how we're able to infect the world as a result of that fire. That should be our metrics. That should be our metric. No, the most important thing is not the number of people who follow us; it is our impact to this world. And so the most important question we need to ask ourselves, it's written up there, what is the true expression that we have not yet put out in this world? And when you awaken that expression, it's just one, but it is the biggest difference it is the difference that will make the biggest difference. We always ask that in NLP because there are so many options. Everything seems to be right. But you choose what is that
True.
difference that will make the biggest difference. And if you choose that, and if you put enough energy in that, you create something that is really life changing. And I think that is the most important question we need to ask ourselves right now, um, so that we could be presenting ourselves to this world at our current level of best version. And then we keep reinventing. We get rejected, but we keep getting redirected.
Mhm.
And we keep regenerating energy until we get there.
True. Oh my gosh. I really hope that some of my friends because yun nga Miss Cherry, meron din akong sinabihan kaya you watch later ha because the episode is for you. I really hope that they have learned a lot of things from you, Miss Cherry. And same goes with our with the viewers right now who are sobrang on fire din sa chat natin. So of course, si Louie said, "Miss you, Coach Cherry. Dami kong baon lagi from all the things you taught me. We love you. Sobrang we love you in the Passionate Creators
Hey,
community,
Louis,
Miss
you have
Cherry."
to show up, and I've been missing you also, so I wanna be able to talk to you.
Oh my gosh!
Mag-share tayo
Louie,
ng baon. And I
alam
wanna
mo,
congratulate Louis for what she's done. I'm very proud of her.
2 years na kami, Miss Cherry. Sobrang nakaka-proud si Louie talaga as in, grabe. Ang daming nagmamahal diyan sa tao na 'yan. Of course,
Kasi
another
sige, go.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, I really just have great words for Louie. She's one of the most generous people I've ever met. And I thought the person, when I met Louie, she was just like an open vessel, ready to receive anything. A person with that kind of energy when you are empty, when you wanted to learn as much as you can, you will get insights and lessons, not just from one person, but from the world. There's going to be a lot of lessons thrown out to us in the world, and all we need to do is to sharpen our senses so that we could see them and hear them and receive them. Louis always shown, Louis always made her senses sharp, and look at what she's built right now. And I'm learning a
Yeah.
lot from her. So, mag-usap tayo, Louis.
Ako naman, one word for Louie, genuine. Miss Cherry, anything that you want to share with us, or if you have programs coming up, please do share it po para at least the people or the viewers of my show would also know kung ano yung mga upcoming na niluluto niyo sa world stage. Please.
We do a lot of work with organizations, Heidi. So that will be great to actually help us keep spreading our words in the organizations that you work with, so that we could fire up more teams and more leaders. That's one great thing. You could also hear me on the Awakener podcast. So I have a podcast. We call it a TAP. It's really just to provide you with snippets, with nuggets of wisdom that can awaken you for the time that you are listening to it. Take your own insight. Now, bring your own motivation, get your own insight, find your own meaning. That is now the world that we live in
Mind your
right now.
own meaning. What?
Yes, mind your own meaning, di ba? Kasi so many things are happening. We just need to look for the meanings. If there are accidents happening to you, ask yourself what is the message of that accident, and we are going to learn a lot out of that. I mean, what has happened to us this whole 2 years, there's no playbook for being human beings, but we were able to survive, and we were able to overcome and win, to vertically assimilate ourselves and fight COVID. And I think we're learning a lot as human beings. And so we just need to be open, and we just need to keep getting the lessons around us, and we will be our best version. So there's nothing much really. We are very much present in social media. We do share the work that we do with organizations. Pretty much soon, we are coming up with our NLP practitioner course. So that's probably going to be sometime towards the end of the year. We're very excited to awaken more awakeners in the field so that they could continue to inspire through the work of helping others, more people.
Amazing. I will follow your podcast, Miss
Yes, thank
Cherry.
you.
Sobrang amazing. Guys, I hope you follow all the social media platforms of Miss Cherry. Sobrang marami kayong matututunan. She's so nice. Grabe yung energy niya. Just looking at her smile. Alam niyo guys, pagpasok niya kanina, kinilabutan ako.
Namula yung cheeks mo.
Namula yung cheeks ko kanina guys, ang init-init. Ganun siya ka-on fire kasi nag-init din ako. Naka-aircon ako dito pero sobrang init talaga. Sobrang thank you, Miss Cherry. And guys, if you're not able to watch the previous episodes, sobrang happy ako talaga because I was with a lot of people here sa show natin, and just wants to share with you kung paano maging empowered women. First episode was I Am Resilient with John Fontanilla. Second episode was I Am God Fearing with Marcia Balbuena. And then last week we also have I Am Mindful with um Sir Josel Gaston. And of course, on Wednesday, our fifth episode, we will be having DJ Nicole Ayala, and we will be talking about I Am a Work in Progress. Sobrang amazing episodes that are really, really thought of. Alam mo yun? I really created this episodes para dun sa mga friends and for those listeners who really want to be on fire, to be the best versions of themselves, and to learn from these people whom I have invited na alam ko talaga na sobrang, kung hindi kayo naniniwala sa akin, maniwala kayo sa kanila. Because that really is the purpose, just to be an empowered woman and to infect a lot of people, one person at a time. Sobrang yun talaga yung goal natin dito. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you had a lot of fun as much as I did. Sobrang starstruck moment na naman ito for me.
Oh, syempre, no, being with young people gives me a lot of energy. So,
Oh
definitely, definitely.